Hi, my name is Amy Woodcock. This is assignment 15, the case study, which I've named Keys to Reading Success and Continual School Improvement. What do I know? So the facts, the demographic facts that I know is that the school district encompasses a suburban community and a medium-sized Midwestern city. The district houses 4 K-8 buildings, 2 K-4 buildings, 1 middle school that is 5 through 8, and 1 high school. Truman Elementary is the largest elementary in the district, housing students up to about 700 in enrollment. There's 3 sections in each grade with 1 preschool classroom. Specific to Truman, there is a 15% free and reduced lunch rate, 5% ESL population, and the principal is in his second year, who also, those new to the building, isn't new to the district. What do I know as far as achievement and perceptive data? Reading achievement is a concern. Students lose ground from grade level to grade level. Parents feel negative about the reading instruction. Principal received a letter from the PTO president expressing concerns from their last meeting. Like I mentioned earlier, the principal is in his second year to the building, but was hired within the district. The principal had the district reading supervisor observe primary grade classrooms and make recommendations on the reading instruction. The school received a state-funded grant through the Department of Education to support reading improvement with the implementation of a research-based reading programs. Funds cover expenses over a 2-year period. Funds can average from $200,000 for an individual building or up to $500,000 for a district. Documentation is required over a 3-year period having this grant to keep track of the data and the student achievement scores. And a statement of commitment, though, is required by the superintendent for the acceptance of the grant. What do I know from the reading supervisor's primary classroom observations? Report to the principal. In general, teachers are using the Basel reading program and following the curriculum. At least 1 hour is spent each day in language arts, often more, but not always. Instruction is almost always whole group. There is little individualization or small group skill development. Skill development occurs solely in context of that Basel instruction. The entire class receives the same skill instruction regardless of the performance level of the student. Classrooms that did teach strategic reading skills seem to appear random, and those teachers had learned it on their own. Reading instruction at Truman is not aligned with recent research on that's effective, and this includes both the content of what's taught as well as the delivery of the instruction. What I need to know. First of all, screeners. What diagnostic screeners are in place? And if there are screeners in place, what are they? How often are they given? And to whom are who gives them and who are they given to? The outside data. How do the reading scores from the elementary buildings in the district compare to Truman? Teamwork, as far as are there PLC teams within the building and grade level team? Is there a common plan time for teachers to get together on the grade level or even meet vertically to talk about student data? And if so, when and how long? What's the professional support systems that are in place? Does the school district have a reading specialist for the primary grades to come in and give support to the classroom teachers? Is there any ESL support to help with those students? What is the problem? Well, there's poor reading skills that lead to a breakdown of reading achievement. So my plan of action. First, if you notice my key, I start with the data, then we get knowledge, we use those strategies, we evaluate, and then that leads to success. Discuss the reading data. Number 1, students' needs with the staff and other stakeholders. Number 2, accept the grant. Number 3, apply for like MTSS, especially emphasis in reading interventions with the support of TASN, which is a technical assistant support network within, like this here, it'd be the state of Kansas. So number 4, adopt Ames Web for assessment screener. Number 5, develop an MTSS or like an intervention leadership committee that can kind of help follow through and help lead the teachers on the goal. Number 6, create assessment schedules so teachers know exactly what is given when, and we know that end that destination of what the kids need to know, and that just helps bring everybody together when we know the assessment. Have an assessment calendar in hand. Number 7, create a common plan time within the grade levels. This will take some tweaking with the schedule to make sure that all grade levels have that common plan time at least once a week to go over the data and figure out what works and doesn't work, and then revamp things and just keep that wheel turning. Number 8, provide professional development opportunities for with high yield strategies and reading instruction for teachers. Number 9, meet routinely to evaluate the process and make adjustments as needed for continual improvement. And number 10, communicate processes to all stakeholders. Areas that should be celebrated, things that's going really well and we're proud of, and then of course the areas that still need improvement. Strategies to implement my plan. Well, I want to review the data with the staff and parents using a party and like a gallery walk approach. So I feel like any type of refreshments just kind of helps the feel of something like going over this important information. Data sometimes can bog people down, especially teachers after a long day, or if this would be in the evening, so that others, parents can be there after school. I feel like that would be good. And then a gallery walk where it can, especially the parents, I think that just seeing the different stations and the needs at each station and explaining with it all written out on posters or paper, and really I feel like that would be a good process and a place to kind of springboard off of. Then also apply for state support services, like I mentioned, the support network with that the state may have in place. Like here in Kansas, it's TASN. The building leadership team would meet regularly also to evaluate the processes. And then provide common planning time for teachers. This is very important to get this intervention process all in place and having time to evaluate our data and keep improving and go over those teaching strategies. Also, provide professional development, especially like Marzano's. Highly effective instructional strategies would be really great with teaching small groups and using those strategies to help with our reading and writing instruction. Have the district reading specialist or supervisor observe and give tips regularly, or if it, encouraging teachers, just to have that specialist come in. They can give a lot of great insight on what works and maybe what doesn't, or even doing like a team teaching a few times. So just for that learning process and making sure that explicit instruction is going on in core is very important. Provide training on Ames Web is very important as our assessment screener tool, and then also have those opportunities to keep going back and evaluating how to go over that data. You might have something at the beginning, but then maybe several weeks in, have a refresher. So teachers, because there's always something that comes up, or because it can be pretty overwhelming if it's something new. Meet routinely with staff to evaluate the process, to get perspective data and make those adjustments as needed. I feel like that's very important to get everybody on board so everybody feels like they have a piece and everybody can own it together. Let's see here, promoting success of all students. We need to do, I've said this before, but whatever it takes, so all students have the supports in place to improve reading and writing outcomes. Teachers need to be provided the best to their students. They need to be providing the best instructional practices. And then by accepting the reading grant requiring research-based programs with documentation, will provide structure for evaluation processes for continual improvement. What was I thinking, feeling, and valuing as the building leader in this situation? And then what issues are unresolved? Well, first of all, as I am the advocate for students as a building principal, so their successes, and I want to do whatever it takes to provide an environment where individual needs of every student are being met at the best way that we can do that. Then B, what are my perceptions of my staff? That would be something. I want them to really be on board and win this over. What can I do to get them to buy in that this is our vision, this is where we need to go to make things better and to create that culture that we all want to be a part of. C, are other schools in the district struggling with the same issues regarding poor reading outcomes? Or is it just my building? Is my superintendent supportive of what's going on in my building and supportive in our goals and what we're wanting to go forward? D, improved reading outcomes takes time. It's something that just doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. So making sure that everybody is patient with all of that. All the stakeholders that are involved understand that. E, what other problems will arise? Is there other additional costs? Or is there curriculum that would be really helpful in addition to the plan that I've come up with? Is there other things down the road that we really might need to purchase? Schedules, of course, this is something huge in the schedule system. So as far as any scheduling conflicts, and then is there proper para support that students and teachers need in the classroom to give that instruction? And then as an agent for continuous improvement with families and community. That's part of my role as well. First of all, families. I feel like through having data parties, PTO meetings, and sharing everything that what we're doing in the school. I also think another thing that I could do to share what's going on in the building is a walk in my shoes night. That I feel like that would give parents really a good idea and understanding of what's going on. So they could come in some nights in the evening and really just kind of go through. They could sit down at their kid's desk and see the curriculum, and we kind of, as the teachers, they could kind of walk through, briefly within, it would just be brief so they could kind of see what the curriculum's like, what we're doing. As far as interventions, they could break out and really see how small groups and what that individualized instruction looks like. And then also, as far as the Board of Education, if I'm moving up there, updates through my board reports. I would definitely share what's going on. I would invite the school board members to come in and do classroom walkthroughs. They could come in during reading or just any ELA time, and then also they could see the intervention time. So they can really, a lot of times they're outside making decisions, but if I feel like if I could bring them into my building, I think that could really support those relationships. As far as my community, promoting and sharing processes for gaining improvement, gaining that trust and support. Um,